Hi everybody, it's Guru Bob and welcome to this seventh and last video for Module 4 of the challenge. In this video I'm going to be talking about a strategy that I call leveraged content syndication, which is basically just a method for publishing some content on the internet and getting a whole stream of backlinks ultimately pointing back to your site. Now this is an optional video for the challenge. We don't expect you to implement this strategy as part of the challenge training, but it is an important link building strategy that we think you should be aware of for your long-term link building activities. So without further ado, let's find out more about what leverage content syndication actually is.
Leverage content syndication is effectively the process of publishing article content, in this case spun article content. I'll explain what that means a bit later in the video, with an associated bio box and of course links, hopefully links back to your website, to a content syndication service, and then that content syndication service over a period of time will then publish that article and the different variations of that article to various different article directories and blogs. And the purpose here, of course, over a period of time is that this article and the article variations are published widely around the internet on a whole bunch of different sites. Those articles are then found and indexed by the search engine spiders, and once they're indexed and the links associated with the article are recognized, then you'll be given credit for those links back to your website. Now, this strategy is optional in the challenge, largely because in order to both spin the articles and submit the articles and use the content syndication services, those are all paid services. There's no free option for that at present. And also this whole process, so creating an article, spinning it, submitting it to the content syndication service, and then having that content syndication service publish that article across this different range of sites, that can take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks for the articles to be published, but also for them to be found by the search engine spiders and for you to be given credit for the links. So whilst it's a very effective strategy for getting links over a period of time, it does take a little bit of time, and for both of these reasons it's unlikely that you're going to want to utilize this strategy during the challenge training program. But it is a very important link building strategy that if you're going to be engineering a link building program in the future, then this is a strategy that you're going to want to use. All right, so how do we basically make this strategy happen? Well, the first thing, of course, is we've got to have an article. Now by now you'll be familiar with creating articles for your blog, and creating an article for leverage content syndication starts with the same basic process, and that you need preferably a unique article which is optimized for the keyword that you're wishing to build links for, but also the keyword that you're going to be building links to the article on your website, which will be optimized for the same keyword. Now, if we were to just put one unique article like this without any spinning and submit that to the content syndication services, then they will just publish that same article across a whole different range of sites. So they'll effectively be publishing a whole bunch of duplicate content. Now this is probably not a good idea, not because you'll suffer any sort of penalty per se, but it's unlikely that Google will index lots and lots of different versions of exactly the same article. So if it won't index them, then you won't be given credit for the links associated with that article. So it's not a good idea. So in order to make this strategy work, the goal is to spin the article. Now, content spinning is essentially the process of creating a whole bunch of different variations of the same content, either by synonym replacement or by writing different versions of each of the sentences or each of the paragraphs within that article. In this display here you can see an article that's been spun in terms of synonym replacement. So all the phrases within the curly brackets, you can see there's different variations of the one word, and when you create and spin an article in this way, the syndication services will each time it creates an article to be submitted to a website, it selects different versions of these synonyms, so that every time the article is created, it's unique and different to the next version. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can engineer this content spinning, and there are services that will assist you in doing that. Certainly the ones that we recommend are, if you're happy to do the spinning manually, then there's a great piece of software called the Best Spinner. But there are also automated / semi-automated content spinners as well, and the two that we suggest you take a look at are Content Boss and Spin Robot. All of these are paid services, and there'll be links to these services in the related resources for the Day 7 training page of Module 4. Okay, so how does this work? Well, effectively, you've got your blog, you then submit this spun article to a content syndication service, and then over a period of time, that content syndication service will then publish that article on a whole bunch of different websites. Now, different content syndication services deal with different types of sites. So there are services that will publish to article directories, and there will be services that publish to blog networks, and both. But the goal is, over a period of time, that your spun article, or each one being a slightly different, and therefore Google and the other search engines hopefully will see that as different content, will index those articles on those different websites that these articles are being published to. And once the content is indexed, then the links will be found, and you'll be given credit for that link back to your website. Now, of course, you could be publishing an article to build links to your domain, or the article could link to an individual blog post on the domain. But the principle being is that the article that you're submitting to the syndication service and the article you're linking to on your blog, they'll be optimized for the same keyword, but they'll be different content. We certainly wouldn't suggest that you take one of your blog articles and spin it and submit it in this way. Preferably you'd have a unique article on your blog optimized for a keyword, and then you'll have another article optimized for the same keyword but different, which you will spin and submit to the content syndication service. Now, most of these services, they're not going to publish all the articles in one go. Some will do them, they'll drip feed them over a period of time, just 2 or 3 a day. Some will publish 50 a day. But whatever that publishing rate is, on top of that, you've got the speed with which the search engine spiders find those articles and index them once they've been published. So this is a mid to longer term strategy, but over a period of time, one article submission may generate up to 100 links, or perhaps even more, to a URL on your website. So it can be a very effective link building strategy. All right, so what are the options for the content syndication services themselves? The first one we recommend is Unique Article Wizard. This service largely publishes to article directories, although they do have some blogs, a limited number of blogs within their network, but predominantly it's a submission service to article directories. And it can submit up to 50 articles a day, up to 300 or 400 sites, because it's not going to submit the article to a site which isn't relevant for isn't theme relevant to the article that you've written. And that service costs about $67 a month. So if you're wishing to sort of build links from article directories, then Unique Article Wizard is a great way of submitting content to those directories. Another service is Article Marketing Automation. Now this is a blog network, and they have a very large network of blogs, I think well over 10,000 blogs now. And the way this service works is that it will basically submit somewhere between 2 and 4 articles a day on a random basis for up to 60 days. So over a period of time, you're going to be getting several hundred possible submissions from this service. And again, that service also costs $67 a month. So if you're wishing to build links from blogs, then Article Marketing Automation is a great service for that purpose. Now, a new kid off the block is Article Samurai, which is made by the same people that makes Market Samurai, which is the Noble Samurai group. Now, Article Samurai has some similarities to those prior services in the sense that it submits content to article directories and a blog network. It has an automated submission process which works in very similar to the sort of way Market Samurai works, and it does have an integrated automatic content spinner, whereas the other two services I recommended don't have that. Unfortunately, Article Samurai is very new, so it's still in its sort of beta testing phase. It's not available on a full release basis yet, but I will there will be a link in the related resources on the Day 7 page, so you might want to go and check that out and take a look over a couple of months if this is something you might be interested in. They also have quite a good, if you go to their homepage and opt in, they've got quite a good series of videos on content submission or syndication, as this video is discussing, which sort of gives a much fuller explanation of this strategy. All right, that's pretty much what leveraged content syndication is. As I said at the beginning, and I want to reiterate, we don't expect you to do this in the challenge because there are cost and time implications. But if you're going to be building links to websites as a long-term strategy, and you're going to be building a sort of link building process, then this strategy is definitely one that you should be considering and adding to that process. So it is something that you'd want to explore going forward. And it would have been remiss of us if we hadn't mentioned this strategy as part of a series of good quality link building strategies, even though we don't necessarily expect you to do it as part of the challenge. All right, well, this is the end of Module 4, so hopefully you've got plenty of options for going out in there and building links to your challenge website, and that is something from now on that you're going to be having to do all the time, because once you've got your on-page factors sorted out, you've got your website well optimized for the keywords you're targeting, your long-term ranking in the search engines is pretty much going to be a function of the scale, quality, and quantity of links that you build to that website going forward. So good luck with that.